Yes, yes, yes. And welcome. It is Sunday, October 31st. It is Halloween. And
Yes.
I am your boy, Heaven Hollywood. And welcome to GOAT Talks. I am one part of this new amazing podcast, GOAT Heaven Hollywood. And along my side, as you will see every single Sunday from henceforth, is the one and only GOAT Alexis. GOAT Alexis, what is going on?
Everything is fine. I'm just so excited about this podcast. I've been waiting on doing something like this for a very long time, so I'm excited.
Woo, I am excited too. It's first, let's get into it, man. We gotta let people know who we are. So it says there on the screen, who are we? So again, I'm Heaven Hollywood. I'm Goat Heaven. All right. I was basically people know me from Block TV, which I created with my brother Wes Clark, the director. We created Block TV back in 2007, and by 2008, we had pretty much taken over the tri-state area. We was the number one media show in the tri-state area. We introduced, you know, digital TV pretty much everyone was still on that DVD phase. So that's one thing that I'd say me and my brother take credit for. When everyone was still in that DVD phase, Cocaine City DVD, Smack DVD, All Access DVD, we were the only companies calling ourselves TV. So we was Block TV. Everyone else was DVD. So all y'all that's calling yourself TV right now, I think you owe me a check because we was the only company calling ourselves TV. So Block TV, we created that, and then we started just getting hired by different celebrities to film their parties. So I've been hanging around celebrities since hard bodies since 2008. I then went into production, worked for a record company. I then wanted to get into me and my brother wanted to get into films. So we tried to get into some movie companies, whatever. They were saying they didn't have no experience. So guess what? I got experience. I got into porn. I got into producing porn for 3 years. So just to get the experience of being on a movie set, even though it was porn, it was still experience under my belt. Then I was able to bring that back to different movie studios, and they were like, "Oh, okay, at least you have experience being on a set." I then worked for ESPN for about 5 years behind the scenes, and then finally, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my own thing. We did the Block TV thing, and here we are. We just create, um, content. We are film film writers. We had a couple of films out there. We're working on a couple of TV shows at this moment, working with different people, just grinding, man. And I looked up a lot about Goat Alexis, and she can tell you exactly who she is. A lot of y'all know, but for those who do not, the Goat will tell you who she is.
Yes, yes. My name is Goda Alexis. I'm coming from Gossip of the City. I used to blog for Gossip of the City, and she had her
Mm.
website. And she was charging people, I think, at first $10 a month, then 20, then 25, then 45, then 150. Y'all get it. But I used to blog for her dark room, and I grew a big following from doing that. The type of tea I was dropping at the time, people were just loving it, and it would hit big news outlets, and I realized just how big the platform was that I decided to go ahead and do my own thing.
Mm. And that very interesting. Before we move forward, very interesting
I knew
because
it.
that is a very um controversial website.
Right?
It always has been, even since it was Famous, when it started out as Famous, and we know how that story went, the whole Nipsey Hussle thing and what have you. And then um they brought this fee on out of nowhere. She just came out of nowhere and became the face of Famous, and then they
But
changed
no,
it over
talk
to
about
Gospel of
that.
the City.
Talk about that because people don't believe me when I say this. But talk about that. Talk about who was really the front runner of Famous, and then how Fee came along, and then I'll confirm a lot of things that you say.
Okay, so very quickly, um, Famous. I knew Famous from when he just had about 3,000 followers on Instagram. I was unaware that he was a male. I thought he was a female because the way he blogged, like the way he got in his feelings, it was like a female. You know what I mean? So then when I was running this radio show called Blogger Saturdays on Dollhouse Radio, shout out to India and everybody on Dollhouse Radio. I had this show called Hot Sugar. And on Saturday nights, I would have on certain Saturdays of the month, I had Bloggers Saturdays where I invited certain bloggers on, urban bloggers on, and pretty much to just tell about their company, right? So he was one of the first bloggers on, and he came on, and everyone was shocked that so for the few people that knew about him, everyone was shocked that it was a male, right? So once he came on, he was telling about how even back then he was like, yeah, I'm after the shade room, I'm gonna, I'm coming after the shade room. The shade room don't
Yeah,
bring no stories. The same thing. The same
yeah.
thing he's been talking for years. Same thing he's been talking for years. And what happened was once people started dragging him that he was a male, all of a sudden, Fee appeared, and he kind of like transferred the company over to her, which I still believe to this day. All of the writing and some of that, I still believe he's doing it. I don't believe she's doing it one bit. She may have put her face up. That's why she never goes live. Like that's why you never really hear about her talking about these topics or whatever. So I believe from the beginning he's been behind it. They've been, caught in several different lies about their company. And it is what it is. They're over there, charging people whatever they're charging. And if after all these years of getting exposed, if people still believe and are still paying for that content, hey, that's on them. I can't really help you. You know,
Right.
if if you're still buying that content. When you were there, was it him? Or
So
was it or was it her?
let me get into it. So Famous, I found out who Famous was because of the Kanika Jenkins case. You remember the girl in the hotel and
Right.
whatnot. And the person that Fee was stealing the information from, there was this girl on Facebook talking about the case and talking about what she felt like really happened. Word from word, I kid you not, word from word, Fee was copying and pasting that on her blog, making it seem like it was her content. So that's how
Wow.
I came around or found out about Fee because I went on a page and I was like, oh, that's that girl on Facebook, and I was posting about it. And initially, I was blocked from Famous.
Right.
But in the midst of all of that, people kept saying, "No Fee, she has the tea, she's never wrong." So even though I was blocked, I still, paid attention to the page. And how I knew about Famous. I mean, what happened with Famous is under my understanding is that she released a sex tape about Kevin Hart, and he had got her banned from IG.
Yes,
So
I remember that.
fame, fame directly, he's banned from IG. He can never make an IG account again. They got his IP address, his phone, whatever. He cannot make an IG account. That's when Gossip of the City came around, and that's
Mm,
that's Fee. Fee is the
makes
face of
sense.
Gossip. Alone when they went online with the website Gossip, it was Gossip of the City first, and then they had to change it to Gossip in the City
In the
because
city.
they're always changing shit when they get exposed. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But when they first did the website, that was not Fee. First of all, Fee, her first language is not English. Her first language
Wow. See
is
there, not a lot of people
Spanish.
know that.
So when she types, you could tell it's not somebody who speaks proper English because it's not her first language. The person that was doing all that shit was Fame, cursing people
Right.
out, blocking people, saying, "Well, if you don't know how to follow simple directions, you could just get blocked." That was Fame.
Yep.
Fame has this anger issue. You feel what I'm saying? He has a very bad anger issue. He has a temper and he gets to blocking people. That's Fame. Whenever you guys see that happens, that's 100% Fame.
Yeah, I can vouch for it because,
And
like I said, he my very first blogger that I had on my bloggers Saturday was him, and he was the one who was the Golden State Warrior fan. You know, there
right,
was rumors that he worked maintenance in for the Golden State Warriors. That
right,
was the rumor of how he always was at the games and how he would always be photographing, the games. So there was rumors that he like worked maintenance for
right.
like
'Cause
for the stadium or wherever they play at
they
for
both
where
were
Golden State
janitors,
plays at.
right? They both were janitors. And this is something that I was sent because somebody was like, "Is fee even illegal? Is she here in this country legally?" I was busting out fucking laughing. I was like, that would make sense. That's because those are the type of jobs that are handed to people who come from different countries. You get the low bottom end jobs.
Right.
And the reason why he was a janitor is because he's a felon and his dumb ass went up into a fucking bank, and tried robbing a fucking bank like he fucking smart or some shit. Nigga, you ain't smart. He went straight to fucking prison. And he's like a felon now. So that's why he's a janitor. So they allegedly met when they were working for the same building. She would clean shit
Mm.
up, he would clean shit up, and they found love doing that. And he is a very big
Found
Warriors
love cleaning
fan.
up poop.
Yeah,
Hey.
he is a very big Warriors fan. The one thing that they probably don't know is that I saw their Facebook account
Mm,
or his Facebook account before he got deleted. He was a very big Warriors. He was obsessed. He loved basketball. He had an anger issue on that motherfucker too. He would be cursing other people out, and that's when I knew. I was like, the way he types, the way he curses people out, that's Fame. He did it on a
right.
website. He does it on IG. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Fame.
Yep. That's hey, I've been saying it for years. People didn't want to believe me. Now you have someone who worked with them, worked for them, and she's saying the same thing. So maybe now y'all will believe me for some discussions and some of these trending topics that's going on. Everybody right now is talking about Lil Boosie and Lil Nas X. So for people that's been living under a rock and have no idea what we're talking about, you know, as we all know, Lil Boosie has been taking shots at Lil Nas X from the beginning. He basically has an issue with Lil
Unprovoked.
Nas X's sexuality.
It's been unprovoked.
Right, unprovoked. Let's call it what it is. He has an issue with his sexuality, and what happened is Lil Nas X was playing around, said, "Oh, on Instagram, he was or on live and saying, yeah, I got a record coming out with Boozy,' joking around. Me and Boozy have a record coming out. Now, I'm sure everyone knew that he did not really have a record coming out with Boozy. And Boozy then took to his platform, basically tweeted, "Stop trolling me, F word," the word that rhymes with maggot, the F word. The tweet said, "If you hashtag commit suicide, you would do this world a huge favor. Nobody wants you here." Now, listen, I'm all for, and as you know, of course, Twitter took down the rapper's post for violating the company's policy on hate speech. All right. And I'm all for freedom of speech. I always said that, my motto is yes, we're in the land of the free, home of the brave, and freedom of speech, except when you're talking about gays or Beyonce.
Better
So that,
not talk about Beyonce.
so that's my motto. Yep, freedom of speech, unless you're talking about gays or Beyonce. So I'm all for freedom of speech, But the
Okay.
question here is, did Lil Boozy go too far? And my take on it, I'm gonna get your take afterwards. My take is, I think he went a little too far, and here's why. It's not the fact that I'm defending Lil Nas X, or not the fact that he called him the F word, even though that is a little too far as well, especially the time we're living in. Even though that word 10 years ago was used in music, on records, everything. But the culture that we're living, the times we're living in, to commit suicide with the mental health and the depression, and everyone that has taken their lives over the past few years, suicide is up. The rate is up higher than ever. Over the last 20 years, it is now at its highest. Um, I think that was a little too far,
Okay.
as far as you should commit suicide just because he was joking around saying we're doing a record together.
Right.
My take is, it was too far for for the content in which Lil Nas X. If Lil Nas X came on and was like, "Yeah, I hope you know, if you may not have known that, but me and Boozy, we've been lovers the past 3 years." If he comes on and says something like that, that is just totally off the wall, and people are believing like, "Oh man, Boozy's on the down low," stuff like that. I could see him blowing his top and going. I still at that point wouldn't say that, but to me that's a little too far. My take on it is, Boozy went way too far with the commit suicide, even more so than calling him the F word. What says you?
Okay. And my opinion on it is, yeah, he went way too far. But I'm gonna go a little deeper and say, I don't understand men who go out their way to offend gay people or talk down on gay people who aren't talking about them, who aren't worried about them. They're just living their fucking life. You feel me? And there's a
Right,
word that I learned what that means because I grew up around people like Boosie, right? It's called toxic shame. And whenever you're toxic, you're feeling shamed, it begins from maybe your childhood. Maybe instead of your mom saying it's okay, baby, everybody makes mistakes, maybe she calls you stupid for making a mistake, and you growing up and you're calling other people stupid for when they make mistakes. So it makes me wonder what happened in his childhood, or what happened while he was growing up, that he's constantly attacking gay people. Because Lil Nas X isn't the first one. You feel what I'm
right,
saying? He
absolutely.
has attacked other gay men unprovoked. And that worries me because I know a lot of men. I have a lot of men in my life. I have a brother, I have an uncle, I have a father, I have a lot of men in my life.
Mm,
And for the most part, my brother, he don't even talk about gay men. He don't worry about gay men. Actually, a gay man tried hollering at my brother before. He didn't take offense of it. He said, "No, bro, I'm not gay," and he kept it pushing. So
right.
it makes me wonder what the fuck is really up with Boosie. What happened in prison?
That- That's that is a good question. I think that's a question. We're going to end that there, but that's a question we have a Boozy. Boozy, what's good, bruh? What happened in prison? Like, why do you keep now? And we're talking about the same dude. Boozy is talking, about Lil Nas X, and he's also made comments about other. This is the same dude who said he let a grown woman give his, what, 11-year-old son oral sex. That's what
Lord,
Boozy said. So
yeah.
so you're checking for, you're trying to check a man about his sexuality, but you need to be checking yourself by saying you allowed a grown woman to pretty much molest your son, and you were there for it. So that's a question we're gonna have going forward for Boozy. What exactly happened, bruh, in your childhood or in jail? Um, Now we got to talk about our boy Dave Chappelle. Um, over the last couple of weeks, um, the as we call it, the Rainbow Coalition, or the LGBTQURSTUVWXYZ, tried to cancel Dave Chappelle. On some comments that he had made or what have you. I believe it was about transgenders. I believe it was a comment. I'm not even going to um really focus on what he said because it. I'm going to be honest with you. So much things have come down the pipe since then. I kind of forgot what he actually originally said to get everybody so upset.
Who should Dave or the
Dave,
baby?
Dave Bell.
Dave Chappelle, what he said was, and here I am about to say what he said, and I don't forgot. Hold on. What did he say? He was talking about his this woman that he had met at a comedy show, or was it a club? She walked up, he was talking to her lady, and as he's talking to the lady, he says this man walks up to him, and the man is like, yo, stop talking to my girl, stop talking to my lady. He was like, um, something nigga. He said the woman was like, I'm a woman, and he said, I couldn't tell. And he
Okay,
was
so
basically telling the story about that, and they found offense in, of all things, they found offense in that story when he went out of his way and said, I'm not trying to be offensive. I love gay people. I don't have nothing against y'all. He said, matter of fact, I won't talk about y'all again until we come to an agreement that we are laughing together.
got you, got you. So and then they were saying that he was facing backlash for lazy and transphobia comments or what have you.
Yeah.
Um, and usually over the past few years, once the gay community and the LGBTQ stand up against you, you are pretty much usually done. Unless you did a public apology, and even after that, sometimes you didn't recover. But Netflix is backing Dave Chappelle, like the couple of people who tried to form this walkout or holdout that they would call themselves doing. Netflix, instead of taking their side, pretty much let them go. They
Yeah.
fired them. They're backing Dave Chappelle, and that brings us to our question: is Dave Chappelle immune to cancel culture? Is he the only one that we've seen so far? Because to me, he's the only one who has not backpedaled on what he's pretty much said, or kind of like catered to and bowed down after he saw the backlash. Um, is Dave Chappelle immune to cancel culture? Can he not be canceled?
I'll say this, and I'll say the reason why. No, he cannot be canceled. And the reason why is because he catered to people like you and I. We're not biased, we're not sensitive, and we want to know the fucking truth, period. And
Right,
we don't want the truth to be silenced. You got people who support people who want them to shut up, be a dog on a leash, and follow everything they say. And if the dog even barks, like what dogs fucking do, dogs bark. If the
right,
dog bark, they're gonna pull the leash and tell him to stop, or and I feel like that's wrong because let's look at the big picture from where this even started, where the conversation even started. He was talking
hmm
about the baby, right?
right,
And we all know the baby is a toxic person. He has hit a woman before and she did nothing to him.
more than one.
More than once, he never apologized. Never in his life did he apologize for these instances, like these occasions. And my thing is, he was saying what he was saying on a stage, even though it wasn't the time or the place, it wasn't a lie. It wasn't like it
Mm,
wasn't a fact. It was the truth. I think it's 82% of people with HIV in this country are men, are gay men. And of that 82% is gonna be, yeah, gay black men.
okay, so you're talking about what the baby said
Yeah, the baby,
on
because
the
when
stage.
that's how it even started. He started talking about the baby, then he went to the spill about his friend. That's how it even got
Got
started.
you.
And I'm only mentioning the baby because you see he got canceled, right? Or they tried to cancel him. But
hmm
Netflix took a stance like, no, like you guys can't be mad at a joke. You guys can't continue to get mad at the truth. And I like that. They have their own platform. They could do things like that.
Wow. That so yeah, that is most definitely um
Plus, they
So
already paid Dave Chappelle 40 million. If y'all thought they were going to delete that
that's
video,
the
you
real story.
lost your fucking
That's
mind.
the
He
real.
had already cashed that check.
That's the real thing. Well, we ain't canceled. We already done paid them now.
We're gonna
So
keep it on for another 2 months at least. Fuck you say.
right, yeah, Dave Chappelle. He's showing me, and the reason why I think the part reason why he's immune to it is, you know, Dave Chappelle. If you remember, he turned down, the $36 million years ago. And Dave Chappelle's not going to, if he went over that. Remember, he would not allow them to put him in the dress. Remember when all that happened? The thing about the dress, where all the other actors were being black actors were being put in dresses, and they came to him with a dress, and he refused to put the dress on. Now, um, that's the story that he told right before the industry called themselves blacklisting Dave Chappelle, is because um they wanted him to put a dress on in one of his films, and he said, "I don't need to put on a dress. I'm funny enough. Like, why do you think that a black man, to make him funny, you always got to put him in dresses?" And that's kind of like a ritual that, if you look back on all the black comedians, they've all been in dresses at some point.
Yep, Kevin Hart.
Yep, they've all been in dresses, or they've all portrayed a gay character, or what have you, or lipstick or wig, and they've done it to all the black actors. However, they don't put all of the top white comedians and actors in dresses, right? But all of the top black comedians, we're dating back to Flip Wilson, for Christ's sakes, when he did Geraldine. Um, all of the old black comedians and all of the top black comedians, all at some point was in a dress.
Right.
And Dave Chappelle said, I don't want to do that. So that already pissed Hollywood off then. And then he came on TV and made the asked the question, what's going on in Hollywood? I don't know whether you saw that or not, but he was sitting on one of the talking to one of, the Hollywood insiders or what have you. And he was asking, what's going on in Hollywood that these people are going crazy? You know what I'm saying? And then he said, or they're making it seem as though they're going crazy. He mentioned Britney Spears. Like, why would Britney Spears shave her head? Like, she's the biggest star in the world. What's happening in Hollywood that will make Britney Spears shave her head, in front of people, and make Martin Lawrence run down the street, run down the
Scream
parkway
with
screaming, "They're
yeah,
trying to kill me."
yeah,
He
yeah,
said,
yeah,
"What's going on?" And like
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Hollywood. So after he did that, then he turned down pretty much $36 million to get in the dress and to paint the narrative they wanted to paint. Remember, he went back to just regular comedy. He said he was back in comedy clubs with the air condition broke and the ceiling right above his head. He said he had went from days after they canceled the Chappelle show. He had went all the way pretty much back to the beginning. And then Netflix came looking for him. He got that Netflix deal. So this is peanuts for Dave Chappelle.
Right.
Like, that's something he's gonna get over. So in that aspect, as of right now, we'll just say it, and then they're like this. Dave Chappelle, as of right now, he's the only one that I've seen that's been able to avoid that cancel culture and live to tell about it. So shout out to him. Um, really quickly, somebody had asked me, what they're always asking me. They hate they hate when I talk about Nicki Minaj, because unless I'm just giving total praise and kneecap sucking and the whole 9 yards, right? So, but they always want to ask me, what's going on? What's going on with Nikki? What do you think about this case? Um, what do you think about the
Mhm.
girl going on the Real Talk? And in case you don't know what we're talking about the case of with this young lady, Jennifer Huff, and she was the alleged victim of Kenneth Petty. And back, what was it, Alexis? 26, 27 years ago, back in 95, I think it was. And she was allegedly she wasn't allegedly, she was the victim, the rape victim of Kenneth Petty. He served time for attempted R, whatever, and now she is back and she is suing Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty, saying that she tried to bribe her to recanting her statement from 26 years ago in order to get Kenny removed from the registry because he failed to register as a SO, in California, and he got in trouble for it. So
Right. Do you
that's where
believe
we
that
are with
shit?
that.
Do you believe it? Do you believe the claims?
I'm gonna say that this is my honest opinion on it, based on the facts and based on what I know and from what I've heard. I don't doubt that someone in Nikki's camp tried to be a hero. Maybe it's one of Kenneth's friends, childhood friends, and they're trying to play hero and Superman, whatever. I don't doubt for a minute that they offered this girl money or tried to bully or threaten her or what have you. I personally don't know if I believe Nicki Minaj picked up a telephone, called this girl, and offered her money. Now, at first she said Nicki didn't. Then she kind of said Nicki did. And like I said, I want to be very careful with this. I'm not going to speak on it too much today because I'm gonna be honest. I kind of treat this now like Tory and Megan case. I really don't care anymore. Like, I'm so over it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
drained by it. Um, I just say this: if Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty did that or orchestrated that, then they should have to be held accountable.
Right.
If Nicki Minaj did not do this,
Didn't.
if she did not orchestrate it, if she did not call and have them do that, then this girl Jennifer should be called out as a liar and a clout chaser. And
Also,
like
it's
I always said, people get clout chasing and liar. They try to make it one. It's not. You can be a clout chaser but still be telling the truth.
right.
because because if this happened, right? If this happened and she's coming forth now because Kenny is married to Nicki Minaj, she's clout chasing, but she still could be telling the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it could have really happened. But the question is, if Joe, like if I had a did it to her, would she be suing me 26 years later? You know what I'm saying? Like that's really the question. The question is not whether people don't seem to be concerned about whether it really happened or not. Oh, why is she coming out now? Which there is really no that trauma has no expiration date, right? Trauma has no expiration date. And according to her, you know, she didn't say anything. It was Nikki fans who sorted her out, and Nikki's friends contacted her, and then she so-called said Nikki contacted her and said, "I heard you willing to help me out." But I mean, we know the story. But as of right now, she is suing the both of them. She tried to get a default judgment because she said they did not respond to the papers. The judge threw out and denied her the default judgment for Nikki, but I heard he gave one for Kenny. So now it's just about her proving if this really happened.
Right.
And from what I'm hearing, I'm not inside the courtroom or what a paper. From what I'm hearing, she has not provided that evidence.
None.
So if you don't
None.
have the evidence, and again, I'm not a victim shamer. I'm all for truth. That's why I said I'm not biased in the situation. Um, I have friends that I mess with that believe Jennifer and that are on Jennifer's team. Like I'm cool with, shout out to Nosy Whole Life. I'm cool with Nosy Whole Life, right? I'm cool with Hot Shot Radio. Like they're involved way deeper in this than me. They are adamant for Jennifer, right? And then of course I have people that I deal with that of course believe Nicki Minaj. My thing is if she provides evidence, I just want people to keep that same energy and say, "Oh, okay," and stop harassing and whatever. If she provides the evidence, now I'm telling you, if she don't provide no evidence after all this, after going on the reel, after doing all these interviews, and she provides no evidence, then yeah, she deserves to be dragged. She deserves to be dragged. Just the same way how if it turns out to be true, Nikki deserves to be dragged, for this incident.
Okay.
And I want to ask, I want your take on it, and I also want to ask you. Like I said, we're not going to get too far into it because I have to really reassociate myself with this case. I'm kind of over it, and I'm just waiting to see what happens. But I want your take on that, and I want to ask you really quickly, in your opinion, will Kenneth Petty ruin Nicki Minaj, or has he already?
I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot down and say I do not like that she's with this man. I don't know any woman, any woman. You don't have to have a career. You could be a broke ass bitch, and you probably wouldn't date a man who's on the sex offenders list. That's my opinion. That's
Mm,
it's never going to change. But as far as this story goes, I think both parties are telling the truth. I
mm,
I don't believe Nikki was
interesting.
harassing her, and I also don't believe she was being harassed. What I do think it what happened, I believe Jennifer when she says that her friends came out and reached out to her to retract her statement. I believe it because Nikki in the beginning of this year she said that Kenneth was lied on, that he never raped anybody. She even went as far as saying that the victim was white. So
Right.
that's a
And she
setup on
wasn't.
saying that she obviously if she obviously wanted the victim to recant her story. I believe that, but I also
Mm,
believe because it was Nicki Minaj, do I believe that Jennifer was willing to do it? Yes. Do I believe that she was willing to take money to do so? Yes. Do I think she was offered enough money? No. And I think that's why she was even
mm,
going back and forth like that because she wasn't liking the offer. And if she did speak to Nikki, my question to her as a rape victim, why on earth are you on the phone with the wife of a man who you're accusing of raping you? Why?
right.
If you're unless you're going along with what they're saying. And then one thing that I did read that she didn't like is that Nikki stopped communicating with her altogether. So I think that's where these charges are coming from because she didn't get her way or she didn't get the amount of money that she initially wanted, and Nikki wasn't budging on the original offer, which was only 20K. So because I believe that's true and because I believe she wasn't really harassed, I think she's going to walk away from this case with $0 in embarrassment, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, I a great take on that. I kind of believe the same thing. Like I said, I'm all for. Like I said, I'm on the side of truth and facts and fairness. I'm all for if Nikki did this or whatever, if she orchestrated, if she knew about it, if she ordered it, then she should be held accountable. If she did not, then Jennifer needs to stop, you know, dragging Nikki into this situation and then just let it go. You know, if you missed your boat, that's your problem, you know. And I technically, have always known from the beginning that she was really the girl. Remember, at first, the Nicki fans were saying, "Oh, that's not her." They was trying to blame that on Cardi B. Oh, that's someone Barty gang. I mean, it just gets ridiculous.
Right.
So at first they were saying this is somebody that Barty gang created, and Barty gang paid to say that she was Jennifer, which is an absolute not factual, because my cousin, rest in peace, 109 Light, he told me before he passed away, "Oh yeah, that's the girl. That's definitely because she was from he was from around that area." And, and he said, "No, that's the girl. That's the girl." So most definitely, I want to see how this happens. I'm not really going to have any more opinion on who I believe, whatever. I'm just going to let it play out. I see it from both sides. Like you said, I think I'm with you on this one. I believe a little bit of both of them. I just don't believe Nicki Minaj personally did that, because Nicki is smart enough to. That's something Kenneth Petty probably wouldn't know any better about. But Nicki
Right.
pretty much
Nikki
knows.
knows better.
26 years later, it ain't gonna matter if she recant a statement. He's done time for it already.
Right.
So
Listen,
it's not like nothing would change. So
Heaven,
I
listen.
know
If
Nicki's
somebody
smart.
if somebody harassing you like that to the point where you feel like you got to move states, trust me, there would be receipts that me and you could grab.
Right.
There's nothing out there, bruh. So I really wonder. They say the U.S. Marshals are the one who got the evidence. I really wonder what the fuck it is. And even if there's a call log that shows that Nikki really did call this girl, guess what? That doesn't prove to me
That's what
harassment.
she said. Yeah, she's
Exactly.
gonna.
That's still not
Hey,
harassment.
she
That
be
means
like, hey,
you gave the girl
calling her.
your number to call. Like
Right.
that's
I was calling to reach out to her, like, but I
right.
never said that. There's no, unless they got the phone call recorded, which I'm sure she don't. You know, there's no way to prove that. So we're gonna wait and see as far as that goes. As far as the Will Kenneth Petty ruined Nicki Minaj, I really, he definitely can't help her, and especially with Nicki going through the thing with her brother, and people say, "Whoa, what does this have to do?" Of course, only Nicki fans make delusional comments like, "What does this have to do with Nick?" She's married to him.
Right.
I mean, she's married to him, and she's a celebrity. It's the same thing with, "Oh, that was Nicki's brother who did that, not Nicki. Why is she taking?" But because she's Nicki Minaj.
You got some people who go as far as saying that her brother is innocent. Oh Lord.
Right, her brother's
Ain't no
innocent.
way, boy.
And so people ask silly questions when it's about their fave, But if this was, someone else's, or let's just say for all intention, if this was Offset,
Mm-hmm.
they would be blaming Cardi. They'd be dragging Cardi right along with it. Oh,
Right.
Texas, what? She know what she married. Blah 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 blah. But and they know they'd be doing that, right? If this was partisan and Megan is with partisan, um, we actually never really answered that question anyway. But I don't really about Nikki. You asked me a question, and it's funny because I like skipped over it. Um, I don't believe I believe it's the fans making more than what it is, but I do believe they took shots. I believe Nikki took shots at her on Seeing Green or Fractions when she said about the the chicks are alcoholics. Who's the one known to drink? Megan. Like Megan's the one that's been known to drink most. Oh, chicks say they hot. Well, come and convince me. Megan calls herself the hot girl. So those to me were shots that Nikki took to Megan, and I believe Nikki a lot of times takes on the energy that the Barbs give off, because
Right.
Nikki's not into social media like that, right? Nikki's not really into social media like that. I mean, the girl don't even know how to add people on to do a live. So, she's not really into social media like that. It's the Barbs who are keeping up with what's happened on social media. Here's a perfect example. Armand Wiggins is a known Nikki hater, right? He's a known Nikki detractor or whatever. He is a Cardi B stan, right?
Right.
Nicki Minaj, he said something about, I want to see Nicki Minaj in trans over to TV. Nicki Minaj responded back to him like and liked his comment. So she was totally unaware that this dude kills her every podcast. So that just goes to show Nikki's not into social media like that.
At
It took the
all.
Barb's coming her saying, "Oh no, don't respond to him. He hates you. He just," and then they started sending her these shows of where he's constantly um insulting and downgrading Nikki, and then she deleted her comment to him. So she had no idea that this dude hates on her every single show. And I'm just keeping it real. I like Armand. I think Armand's entertaining. I think he's talented. His lighting is incredible. I'm not even gonna lie. On his podcast, he's got amazing lighting. I think he's talented as a content creator, but he is very biased towards Cardi B, right? And Nikki had no idea that he was doing that. So that's how I know these things like, oh, Megan, a lot of these things Nikki don't even really realize. But I think she got offended because Megan was in the live with her, kind of throwing subs at Cardi, and then she turns around and does the record with her, and then is like, "Oh, Cardi's the nicest person I've ever met," and blah blah blah. So that came off to Nikki as kind of fake. I don't really think it was even the message of her working with Cardi. I think if Megan never made those comments in the live, like throwing subs at Cardi and I'm gonna go write some stuff, like that, trying to throw subs saying Cardi don't write. I think if Megan had never made those comments and then went and worked with Cardi, I don't think Nikki would have an issue with it. But
Okay.
it's just the fact that she seemed as though she was kind of like on the side of authenticity, or whatever the word is, that um Nikki took defense. But anyway, um the Kill Kenneth Petty thing, I really wish Nikki, I agree with you. I wish Nikki didn't marry the dude. She's married to him. I feel as though she went to him during her lowest point when she felt as though
Yes.
everyone was against her and she felt as though she needed
Yes.
protection. Meek had a house robbed allegedly. She was feeling all these men in media, Charlemagne and academics and Joe Button at the time. All these men were coming for her, so she felt as though she went back to what she knew and who she felt as though would protect her. This dude's not in the music industry, so he don't give a damn about a celebrity, right? So
Right.
he's a street dude. So now she's got the street cats behind her, and she feels as though she needs this dude for security or for safety. Well, guess what, Nikki? You're worth over $100 million. I'm sure you can hire you a Julius, like Beyonce got, or go hire you somebody who's armed security, who's licensed to carry, and trust me, pay them money, and they would be security for you. Hell, I do it. Pay me. I'll come and be security for you 24 hours a day.
All she need is Raw. All she need is Raw Lee. Ain't nobody gonna mess with her. Ain't nobody gonna touch Nikki. Trust me.
So I really think that for the reason of it's got to be deeper than he's got good D. I mean, like come on. It's much deeper than that. She always says, "Oh, you lucky you got good D." I mean, come on. It's not like he's the only man out there with good D. Pause.
Right.
So,
But I did
um,
see his dick print. I'm not going to lie. When she uploaded that picture with Kenny on IG with in a jacuzzi, oh yes, Lord, I seen it because I be looking. And he is a blessed man for sure. Even though this is a married man, I'm not gonna say too much. But she put the photo on the internet, and I want to say I can kind of understand Nikki. No, it's not.
like I said, you know what? I was
Easy.
I was kind of against it, but after I seen that, you know what? I understand.
I'm just being honest. It's not like this man is ugly or anything like that. It's just that past baggage. That's a real big baggage right there. It wouldn't fit on my plane.
Right. So we'll update anything else that we find out about that. Moving on, Kodak Black. The internet is pretty much dragging Kodak Black. As you can see up on the screen, he's groping his mama. Um, there's a video out with him dancing with his mother, and he's squeezing on her butt. And he is crying there and stuff on his mother, and he came up and was kissing her passionately up in her face area, and he basically says he does this to make his mother feel beautiful. So he's saying it's my mother. Y'all, half of y'all don't even have a relationship with your mother. Y'all must not love your mama. So after seeing this, Alexis, is this normal, or you know what? He's just showing love for his mama because it's his mother, or nah?
I think it was playful. I don't think it was normal. I do see why people were uncomfortable because he was groping it like that was his girl. And I just want to, Kodak, if you just so happen to ever listen to this, it's not your job to make your mom feel beautiful. You could call her beautiful, you could boost her confidence as her son, but it's not
Right.
your place to do that. It's literally a different man who can actually have sex with your mother to say shit like that. But you are her son. So in order to make her feel beautiful, you compliment her. You don't grab her ass because that's different. You feel what I'm saying? It's way different. So listen to people. They're not making fun of you. They just making fun of the situation. That's all.
Oh yeah, it's me. I'm looking at it like the first thing I'm always think is, would I ever do? And I don't think everyone feels the same way about their mother, but you can't find a son, and rest in peace to my queen. You can't find a sons who are closer to their mother than me and my brother, especially my brother. He was a type of mama's boy. He's going to feel my mother's death probably to the day he dies. And as will I, but he was the quintessential mama's boy. And my mother was his best friend. They were each other's besties. And you can't find someone who loved or closer to their mother than my brother. And my brother would never squeeze his mother's butt or dance with her and cup her behind. I mean, like, come on, little too uncomfortable for me. It's just as uncomfortable as what rapper was that who was tongue kissing his son and saying it's my son. Come on, man. There's not even
Right.
I wouldn't do that to my daughter, and my mother would never do that to us, and he's gonna say, oh, it's my son, what are y'all talking about? You don't tongue kiss your child.
No,
It's
absolutely
just
not.
not appropriate. I don't even kiss my daughter on the lips. Like, I've never, like my daughter, except when she was a baby. So when she was a baby, and I don't even know if I did it when she was a baby, but since my daughter has been, started walking, crawling, or whatever, I have never kissed my daughter on the mouth, and I've always taught her, don't kiss anybody on the lips. Her mother's never kissed on the lips, so I've told them, don't let anyone kiss you in your mouth except when you get married. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're dating someone, when you're older, if you have a boyfriend, of course. But, relatives, whatever, I feel as though should not kiss people, uh, like tongue kiss your child or do inappropriate stuff. I'm sorry. To me, it was highly inappropriate. And Kodak Black, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's how Haitians are." No, it ain't. No, it isn't. Like I said, my daughter's mother's Haitian. My second baby mama is Haitian. My daughters have it, and she never. I've known plenty of Haitian people, and they do not do that to their mother. So stop it with that. You can miss me with that.
Exactly.
It was un
You
it was
know,
it was inappropriate. Kodak Black.
them Haitian folks is different, but I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. They ain't
Oh,
different like that. Then that's them white tea people.
right. They be doing that craziness. Um, really quickly. before we go into the topic of the day, this is something that we're gonna have every podcast. You got any exclusives that you want to put out there that you may have broke this week, or something that you got in the clip that you never really come out with,
Of
that you
course,
wanna
because
discuss?
a story kind of came out because he kind of tweeted about it, but he didn't use an at sign. Meek Mill, him and Rick Ross are going through some shit right now. Some big things right now.
Mm,
I broke this story a couple months ago. I think I did it in March.
yes.
Actually. I did this in March. I put it out there that Meek Mill and Rick Ross are not cool. They're beefing. It's hot. It's real. I remember Meek Mill had his birthday party at the club. Rick Ross tried to join the section. Meek said, "Fuck that. Go away." You know what I'm saying? There's some
Mm,
real shit going on. And now that I can confirm now because of Meek Mill tweets, it is over money. He dead ass wasn't getting
as
paid
usual.
what he was his usual, and that's millions, y'all. It's not thousands, it's millions of dollars that's missing in between
Right.
Meek Mill and Rick Ross. And that's a lot of fucking money. So, and not just that, he got Dream Chasers, right? And he's been talking
Hmm.
about signing artists and really getting people off their feet. Guess who's not allowing it?
Rick
Rick
Ross.
Ross. Guess why he signed to Jay-Z? Because of that reason. And Jay-Z is trying to
Mm,
help him, but Jay-Z could just do so much when there's a contract involved.
right. And on top of that, Jay is cool with Rick Ross too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Jay is gonna try to do as much as he can for him, but he's not at the same time going to, you know, alienate his ties with Rick Ross, because he really has a good relationship with Ross as well. Um, yeah, that is something. Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because here, this is what the people that are out there that have no idea how Hollywood works. Oh, they're cool. He just tweeted Meek's album. What do you say to that?
Of course he treated that man's album. He's still making money off of it.
Thank you.
What else he's
There you
supposed to
go.
do? That's the same thing with QCP with Offset and the Migos and stuff like that. He gonna keep supporting them because he had to, but they don't fuck with each other for real.
Exactly. That's what people don't seem to realize. People, when they say, about when people aren't cool. Oh, she's cool. The Beyonce is very famous for that. Beyonce is famous for uh when she, for a long time now, she's not been how she was with Nicki. Beyonce is the type where she's gonna get the most out of you that she can, and then she's gonna move on to the next catch. She did it with Gaga, she did it with Shakira. Like, whenever they're hot, that's when Beyonce is going to see you. And then she's going to drain all of the clout and all of the advantage out of you that she can. And then she's going to move on to the next hottest thing. That's how Jay's been. That she learned that from Jay. Like, Jay's always been like that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to um associate myself with who's hot now, because I'm in the position that I'm in. That's gonna make them hotter, and plus it's gonna give me more relevance, because I'm gonna connect myself to them for the relevancy, and they're gonna connect themselves to. It's gonna help them because who I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with um back in the day with Nas, right? With Nas and Jay. Jay was always on Nas. He was like, man, this dude is dope. Like, when Nas first came out, um, Nas had the whole hood going crazy. Like, when he dropped Illmatic. And Jay, at the time when Illmatic came out, Jay didn't even rap the way Jay raps now. Jay was a Iggity rapper. We called them the Iggity rappers back in the days, like the Fushnikins, like on the Jiggity J, Jiggity Z. Like, I'm Biggity Bad. But that's how Jay Z was initially rapping, right?
Right.
So, but then he heard Nas, and he was like, man. So and that's when he tried something different. on the back of his song called "In My Lifetime." He made a record called "In My Lifetime 2." In My Lifetime, he was doing "My Name is Jickety J, Jickety Z." He was doing that on "In My Lifetime," but on the back end of it, he was doing he was talking slow. In my lifetime, I've seen a lot of pain. So he tried something different because he heard Nas is Illmatic. So Jay has always tied himself to the hot person, and he installed that in Beyonce. And it's pretty much once you're not hot anymore, why should I attach myself to you? That's their mentality. They're trying to remain hot. They got the money, they got the status, but this game of music is a young man's game. I always try to tell people when they ask me, well, why is it that um we're gonna get into Ben real quick. Why is it that a certain age limit, um, and it's like you're not hot anymore? But we can save this for
Right.
another podcast. We have ourselves to blame for that because if you notice, Madonna is how old? 63. She's still hot
All this shit.
to white. She still got her same fans, right? And she's still selling out arenas. You don't see white people saying, "Oh, sit your old ass down, Madonna." That's We have a habit of doing that. We started that. That's the reason why they play on the age thing because they see us doing it. The mainstream media, like I don't like saying, "Oh, the white," because that's what I mean. But there's black people in mainstream media as well, but they work for the white mainstream media. They sit back and being in the industry, I've seen this a million times. They sit back and they watch MTV. There was an old alleged rumor that every day at 2 o'clock, all the executives from MTV would gather around and watch BET, and they would go to all the black websites, all the black blogs, and they would say, "We want to see what they're watching and who they're talking about and what they're talking about." This was back in the 90s. So
Right.
when you wonder, well, why is Kim Kardashian on? And this is a perfect segue. Why is Kim Kardashian on the Shade Room? Why is Kim Kardashian on Ball Alert? What she's on all of these urban platforms and she's not black is because they saw that that's what we were talking about, and that's why they pushed it to ours. And the age thing, they make you say, oh, okay, since I see once they turn a certain age, once a black female turns 35, that's it. It's they're old then. Well, like we have this mentality, this ageism of they're old. Sit your old ass down.
Right.
And it's messed up because you got Mick Jagger, 75 years old, who's still coming out here selling out arenas, 20, 30,000 people. And you don't see white people say, sit your old ass down. They're still buying his record's still going platinum. But us, look at all of our
We
go-to
like to talk
rappers.
down on our own, and this is a fact. And we're definitely going to save this one for later. But
Yes,
definitely this conversation because we do like to talk down on
on our own.
our own, and it's just a disadvantage for ourselves. Like we do
Hmm.
that to our own people.
Right. We're gonna definitely get into that. And that was your exclusive, your Meek Mills. Um I will save my exclusive for next week. We're gonna do one a week. We don't want to leave you too much, and we definitely don't want to take any stories away from what we're gonna break during the week.
Right.
You know, I put out videos routinely. You can check them out. My tea that I broke earlier this week was during the Super Bowl. They are trying to get a commercial for um They're three, in their opinion, they're three hottest female rappers, and that's Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and Doja Cat. They did not ask Nicki Minaj, and they feel as though those three are the faces and futures of female rap. So
Mm.
during the Super Bowl, you're gonna see your commercials. They're trying to get all three of them together, but if they cannot, it's gonna be for the same brand. They haven't decided yet which one they want to do, but they're trying to work that out. So y'all be on the lookout for that. When you see that commercial, you can say, "Oh man, Heaven told us 4 months ago that he's going to be in the commercial." What happened to Ben Simmons? Ben
Lord have
Simmons
mercy.
is the point guard or point forward or whatever he is for the Philadelphia 76ers. At some point 2, 3 years ago, people were saying Ben Simmons could be the best player in basketball. He's the second coming to LeBron. He's the new LeBron. 6'10", can dribble, can pass, amazing defender, might be the best um perimeter defender in basketball. And a couple of years, he's a three-time All-Star, I believe. A couple of years ago, they were saying Simmons and Embiid. They called it the process. Checks. They said trust the process. Simmons and Embiid. Now Ben Simmons wants out of Philadelphia. The Philadelphia fans hate him. They burned his jersey at the end of last year's playoffs because he was afraid to shoot. He went from we know he can't. He's not a great shooter. He wasn't a great shooter in college, but he never shied away from shooting. He's terrible at the free throw line, so he's now shying away. He's afraid to get fouled and go to the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
I don't think
How
he's.
did this happen? What happened to Ben Simmons? I'm going to give what happened to Ben Simmons. We have a take on it. I want to hear your other take, and then I'm going to give you the ultimate take of what I feel happened.
I just, I feel like the organization, they got him as a point guard. Like you said, he's 6'10", and he didn't really come out in college as a point guard. He was a small forward.
Right.
And even though they kind of put
I
him up,
just handled the ball a
so in
lot.
the playoffs, so like I said, he's a point guard. For people who don't watch basketball, he's a point guard. That's his position with Philly. But in the
Right.
playoffs, that play where you saw that he didn't take the shot, they was putting him as a small forward.
Right.
And they threw him under the bus because that play wasn't ran correctly. I play basketball. I know the plays and everything. They didn't run that play correctly, and they ended up throwing him under the bus, knowing that. So I think that's part of the reason why he wants to leave. But I really would love to know why you say he's going to go.
And that is a good point. I believe I also believe he's out of position. That might work. You could be a point forward. In the but playing you at point guard and playing Steph Curry, what's his brother's name? What's Steph's brother? Seth. You're
Steph,
playing
yes.
Seth Curry, who's 6'2", at shooting guard. He should be at the point. The
That
short
man
like
can't
point guards are usually the
dribble.
short dudes. The shortest dudes on the team are usually other than Magic Johnson, of course, who kind of transcended big point guards. He was 6'9", and Magic Johnson was a real point guard, but he was the first 6'9" point guard. But Seth Curry should be the point guard. He was a point guard in college. He's 6'2", I believe, 6'3" tops. So he should be the point. Ben Simmons should be playing either small forward or power forward. Since he's not a great shooter, I would say power forward, especially in the league we're playing in now. However,
He can't
that is
post.
right. That is a very good point. But I always say that you have to look a little further in, and that's what I don't believe that these NBA analysts are doing. They're all talking about he can't shoot. He's scared of the free throw line. He doesn't have good chemistry with Embiid. He injury. All of those things might be true, But to me, the main reason that Ben Simmons fell off and went through the thing is mental more than physical. And what I mean by mental is Kendall Jenner. And when people say Kendall Jenner, like what does Kendall Jenner have to do with Ben Simmons? Well, for everyone who does not know, Kendall and Ben Simmons dated up until around 2019, the end of right before the pandemic hit. All right. She was dating Ben Simmons on and off. Now remember, Ben Simmons pretty much broke up with Tanashi to date Kendall. So Ben was with Tanashi. He pretty much dumped Tanashi to get with Kendall Jenner. And they had a on and off relationship for about 2 years. And right now, Kendall is with Devin Booker, who plays for the Phoenix Suns. The word out of Philadelphia is, and this is coming from an ex teammate that was playing with him during the height of Kendall and Ben's relationship. This teammate said that Ben is obsessed with Kendall Jenner. He said this a year ago. Obsessed with Kendall Jenner. And if you look back, and a lot of people would say, "Oh no, it's Kendall Jenner. Why is he still concerned about her?" If you look back to when Kendall Jenner posted her year anniversary with Devin Booker, that was right around playoff time, and I believe that, and this was really like their first time that they confirmed. Everyone knew they were together. This is like their first time that they confirmed that they were together. And right after that picture posted, Ben Simmons has not been the same. You can look back for yourself. You can go check on it. Once he posted that picture, Ben Simmons was not the same. And I believe it is still mental. They were saying that he was still texting, even though she's with Devin, who he hates, by the way. They're in separate conferences. If you look, if anybody looks back at their old games and what have you, he's never liked Devin Booker. He blocked a possible trade when they were thinking about Philly was thinking about signing Devin Booker or trading for him or another. Ben Simmons was like, nah, that dude ain't coming here. And Devin Booker's a great player. So Ben Simmons, who's in a totally different conference, does not like Devin Booker. And that's why Kendall Jenner's got his head all messed up. See, people, men, it doesn't matter how much money we have. It don't matter how good looking we are. It don't matter what our status is. And oh, sure, he can get a girl that's better looking than Kendall Jenner. Yeah, but it ain't Kendall Jenner. That's the thing. It ain't Kendall Jenner. And there was things that was said. She cheated on this dude numerous times. He took her back from the rumor is she cheated on um Simmons about 6 times, 6 different times, and he took her back all 6 times. And then she ended up dumping him and got with Devin Booker. So to me, men's weakness is always going to be a woman. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how good looking you are. I don't care how many other women you have or can get. That's always going to be a weakness, and play on his psyche. And to me, if I'm Philadelphia, I go pay Kendall Jenner to give Ben a phone call. I don't care what the amount is. Send her a check. Here's $10,000. Well, that's nothing. No, she needs more than that. We're gonna send the Philadelphia 76ers. We're gonna send you $250,000. Could you please just call this man? Just call this man and say something. I don't know what you're gonna say, but say something to to get him out of his feelings because this dude, I've never seen such a big turnaround. That to me is the reason why. Go ahead. Do you think I'm reaching?
No.
Perfect transition. Perfect transition to our topic of the day. And here's the topic of the day that we want people to chime in on, and it is the Kardashians. When people mention the Kardashians, it's for the most part, especially among African Americans. And I'm not gonna just say African Americans. A lot of white people hate them too. And I'm gonna give you the reasons I feel as though they do too. But a lot of white people also hate the Kardashians, but mostly black people hate the Kardashians. And they've been known for, a lot of black people say they're culture vultures, they benefit off of the black culture. They create product, you know, for the black culture and take advantage of it and monetize it. Um so there's a lot of animosity and there's a lot of hate filled when it comes to the Kardashians. But my question is, and we talked about this prior briefly, and you made a very good comment. You basically said, you know what? Because what they don't know is you're not the biggest Kardashian fan.
Nope.
Um, but you keep it objective. You're not the biggest Kardashian fan, and you admitted to that. But then you said something very interesting in the conversation. You said, "Do I really have a problem with the Kardashians, or do I have a problem with us for
Thank you.
giving them attention?" So I think the topic of what we're going to discuss is, do we really hate the Kardashians? Because when you think about it, what are the Kardashians doing to us? Has the Kardashians come out and said, you know, we don't like black people, or have they come out and was said Black Lives Matters is silly, or they've done anything to? I mean, look at Kim Kardashian. Look at all of the black men and women that she helped get released from prison. Um, she's done. Look at the black women when she gave money to the shelter, for domestic violence and what have you. Plenty of black women was in that shelter along with white women. So when you think about it, other than the fact that they date black men, and most of the time, the funny thing is, most of the black men that the Kardashians date, black women wouldn't date them anyway.
True.
it's,
True.
it's
True.
not like it's not like women were going crazy over Kanye West.
But Reggie Bush, I'm gonna have to pause you
Reggie
on
Bush
that
a
one.
little different. Okay, Reggie
And
Bush.
Kanye, I seen a picture of him too, so I would date him for real. But everybody else, you gotta, because
I
Chris's
mean,
man,
Tiger. Would you date Tiger?
no
I mean, come on.
Tiger, no, I wouldn't date anybody like Tiger.
You got Tiger. Chris is dating Corey Gamble. Like who
And
knows what
Corey
a date?
Gamble look like that's a gamble. Like, yeah, I can't date somebody I gotta take care of.
Right? And you got, you know, Kim was with Reggie. Okay, Reggie Bush is a little different, even though, even though, even though Reggie Bush is a decent looking dude, women were not on Reggie Bush like that. Like even coming out of college, he was a big deal. Coming out of USC. But I never saw like women like, oh, you know how women like on athletes. There's a lot of athletes that women are like, oh man, he's so hot. Just another. Was never really hearing women on Reggie Bush like that until he became Kim Kardashian's boyfriend. He started being known more as her boyfriend than Reggie Bush, the football player. But my question is, what have they really done wrong to black people? Because when you mention the culture vulture thing, well, if we don't allow them to profit off of us, they can't be culture vultures,
Yeah. And
right?
then you have
They,
some black women who say, you guys are reaching, and it's like we can never come on one accord about well,
right.
getting respect, because even with the Asian community, they come together whenever something happens that they don't like. They come together. They get on them
Hmm.
streets and they come together. But it seems like we could only come on one accord when it comes to police brutality. But any other subject that we should be standing on, we cannot come together on. And
True.
that says a lot about the black community, because you have Kim, who steals from the black community designs for her fashion line. You
Hmm.
got Chloe, who got caught. I used to work for Nordstrom back in 2016. When she
Hmm.
got caught from stealing from another black woman, we had to take like some of her jeans off the floor because of all
Right.
the all the talks around that. So you know
Mm.
that's never enough to get them canceled. And it's like we can't demand things from politics to happen for black people if we don't demand it from regular people. And what
Right.
I mean by that, the Stop Asian Hate bill,
Hmm.
we didn't get that because the Asian community, they came together to get that signed. Black people, we cannot
Mm.
for the life of us get anything to come in our direction. We can never stand on one accord, and that's a bad sign, because a lot of shit that's happening in the United States would not happen if we stood on one accord.
But on one accord, you don't have to look no further than the election. Look at how blacks were more divided than whites on the during the election. You
Yes.
know, I seen blacks who was Democrats their whole life, right? That's one thing with when it comes down to with white people or other races. If they're Democrats, they're Democrats. If they're Republicans, they're just going to pretty much stand on that and say, you know what, I'm going to roll with this person, because I'm Republican. That I'm going to stay Republican. Democrat, I'm a Democrat, so this person may not be, you know, they may not be the greatest candidate, but this is the Democratic candidate. I stand on Democrat values. So there are people doing that. However, during the election, and I don't want to branch off too far, but you make a very good point. We were the most divided race during and you could tell from the lopsided of votes for the Trump party that they was 4 years ago. 4 years ago, when he first was going against, taking over for Obama, I believe he only got maybe 9% of the black vote, something like that, and everybody was surprised he got that much. This election, he got what, 19, 29% of the black vote voted for Trump, down from 9%. So that just goes to show we were not on the same page, with that. But when it comes to them, I definitely get what you're saying, and I kind of think as though I think we're more disappointed in our people, and the reason why I say that is if black people really were not going to stand for them being culture vultures, we're not going to stand for them profiting off of the black race. You know, if that we don't want to hear about them, we're not going to praise the Kardashians the way you people want to praise. If that was the case, black people come together and say, enough. Stop clicking on their stories. Stop watching their TV show. Stop following them on social media. Stop buying their product and endorsing their product. If if that was if black people did that, there would be no way for them to profit off of black people. So if they are culture vultures, and people say culture vulture is someone who profits off of a culture who isn't theirs, eats off of a culture who isn't theirs. If if you have no interest in the Kardashians, you don't show it by going on their posts and saying, "I'm tired of these b words." Or going on their posts and insulting them, or following them just so you can post on their page how much you hate them. That's only helping them. That's not hurting them. They're in the publicity business, right? So they are the ones that the old saying, any publicity is good publicity, right? So that works for them. That doesn't work for a person like in the music business. Bad publicity is not good publicity for someone in the music business, or someone that has a good reputation or a stellar bad publicity is not good. But the Kardashians their whole career is built on publicity.
Right.
So so when people say they're untalented, they don't have no talent. Their talent is, Marilyn Monroe once said, another person who was considered not talented. Marilyn Monroe once said, it takes, anybody that has talent can sing and dance, right? It takes talent to sing and dance, right? People are attracted to that because you're like, wow, look at how she sings. Wow, look at how she dances. She's amazing. She said, but it takes it does take talent to sell somebody on yourself, where the only thing you're selling is yourself. You don't sing that very well, you don't dance very well, you don't play no instruments, you can't paint, you know, none of those things that will attract people, for them to be just as interested in Kim Kardashian as they are Beyonce, who's one of the who people say are one of the most, some people say is the greatest entertainer to ever live, even over Michael Jackson. I'm not saying it. Some people do say it. They say that Beyonce is the greatest entertainer to ever live. For Kim Kardashian to be the most Googled celebrity the last 4 out of 5 years with quote unquote no talent, there's something to that. There's something to that, because people say the sex tape. She got famous from the sex tape. But there's been other sex tapes. So it takes more than just a sex tape. It's been other sex tapes. There's been other people who made sex tapes before and after Kim. Why aren't they billionaires?
Right.
Like, if it's just as anybody can make a sex tape, right? Paris Hilton, who had more money than Kim at first, she had a sex tape. She was already, and she already had millions.
And personally, I'm just going
Right.
to interject real quick and say I like Paris's sex tape over Kim's.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
Like Paris is sex, and not a lot of people would. And the funny thing is, Kim wasn't even the star of her sex tape. Ray J was the celebrity.
She couldn't even,
Kim wasn't even noticed. Kim wasn't even known, really.
yeah,
She at that
she didn't know what she was really doing. It was a
Right.
bore, a
She knew
snooze
what she
fest.
was doing.
But Paris, she knew what she
Right.
was doing.
Right. Paris was known, and Kim was just Paris's flunky at the time.
Yep, I
So
remember.
Ray J was the known person. So my thing is, with the whole topic of the day, do we hate the Kardashians, or do we just hate the fact that we have been, I can't say solely, because they do have a lot of white fans, and of course more, when you look at the numbers, more white people buy their product than black, right? That's just a fact. More white people buy their product than black people. But there are some black people who do buy their product. There are some black people who do watch their show. There are some black, of course, if you look down who's following them, there's a whole lot of black people following the Kardashians, right? Not as much as white people because there's just not as many white people. There's just not as many black people as there are white people. I mean, that's just a fact. In the world, there's more white people. So of course they're gonna have the the majority of their followers are not black, but there is a good portion of the black community that follow and rock with the Kardashians. And that's my whole thing. If they're culture vultures, are they culture vultures because we allow them to be culture vultures? Um, you know, what 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 do you say about that? How do you feel about that? Whether
I feel like
do you
they.
hate the Kardashians or do you hate the fact that we've been letting them eat off of us so long?
Yes, so I don't know about the reality TV show because I don't know who watches them more, black people or white people. But I know for fashion, especially in makeup, especially, I feel like my people, we made them rich when we could have been making our own people rich. We could have made the people who they stole those designs from rich. We should really stay focused. The girl who, Kylie got that the world's billionaire, the woman billionaire from there was a
Hmm.
black girl who really hustled, got it from the mud and became a billionaire. And
Nobody ever heard of her.
Kylie got it instead of her. And I find shit like that happens constantly because we allow it. We get them rich, we let them get rich off of us, but we don't ever get our own people rich. You know what I'm saying? They don't be selling out the
Right.
people who they stole the designs from. They'll just hear about it, say y'all reaching, and continue to buy it from the Kardashians.
Do Goat Talks podcast every Sunday
Every
um
Sunday.
here on the IE network. Um we're glad that everybody got a chance to, you know, hear this first podcast and it's just only gonna get better and better. We already done started some electricity. There's a fire started up in here.
Yes,
So we're
sir.
gonna have to I'm sorry, we're gonna have to pick this up next week. This topic of the day was um do we really hate the Kardashians or just disappointed in our people? I'd like to thank Go to Lexus, for joining me. We're gonna do it again next week. Thank everybody for tuning in. And man, next week it's gonna be even better. We're gonna pick up where we left off. Go to Lexus. Enjoy your week.
Enjoy yours too. It's lovely being on this podcast with you. I have fun.
Oh man, it's gonna be something else. So don't forget, y'all. Goat Talk podcast every Sunday. I'm your boy Heaven Hollywood for Goat Alexis and for the IE Network. We see y'all next time, man. Peace.
Peace.